All right, you can go ahead.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Mama Martin's Kitchen and our Friday chat.
Hey everyone, a Daily Dell here. I know I'm everywhere. I'm here. I'm on my channel. I'm everywhere. You can't escape me. But today, you want to tell them what you're gonna be making, Mom?
I'm making sweet potato salad. It's very simple. And since I'm making it for dinner, I say I'll just show you guys. But there's one ingredient that will be missing is the dressing itself, because the dressing is made with honey and Dijon mustard and that kind of stuff. And I have one thing short is the honey, because I was not going to eat it today until tomorrow, so I don't have that. But I'll show you what I'm putting in it, and then another time I'll tape it for you guys and put it up.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about the rat race of social media. So as my mom's cooking per usual, we're going to chat. I'm going to introduce the conversation, and then we have just questions I'm going to ask her. And, if you have questions in the chat, feel free to ask them as well. And don't forget, of course, to share this video out so people can join the conversation. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to take a seat. Y'all may see just the top of my head, but it is what it is. Oh, actually, it's not too bad when I sit over here. So, but you can start cooking if you want to.
Yeah, start just putting the ingredients together.
So either way, if you guys have been paying attention to social media, or even if you haven't been, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of noticing of like shifting and stuff, and just around the frustrations of social media as a whole, particularly when you're talking about Instagram and YouTube. So those are going to be the two that we focus on today. That's why I retitled this, Has Instagram Run Its Course? Because that's going to be the bulk of the conversation, along with YouTube and content creators and just how people are frustrated. So if you haven't been paying attention to a lot of the discussions going on, recently there was a viral reel that was basically a reel of a woman. Her name is sub_urban housewife. And on TikTok, she was summarizing what she found based on other young Black women saying that they no longer feel like Black YouTube content creators are relatable. They feel like we've lost our relatability as Black content creators. And mind you, from what I gather, these are other Black women saying this, like younger Black women, maybe Gen Z, Alpha generation or whatever. And they're saying that they just don't feel the relatability anymore. Whereas years ago, when YouTube and Instagram and all these places were just starting out, it was different. You felt like you could relate to your favorite content creators, And so she summarized that, and she said that she doesn't mind. The woman that was summarizing is 37. She said in the TikTok, she doesn't mind the glow up per se, and she could understand like how they could feel frustrated, because when you start as a content creator, you're starting in a home, a normal home, like how we're in our regular home now. My mom's cooking her regular dinner, we're living our regular lives. But let's say we reach a point where now we're making millions of dollars or even high six figures because of YouTube and our businesses. And now you see us in a decked out mansion, butlers, maids, eating, Wagyu with lobster tails, and you're just like, dang, like I remember the days when Mama Martin and Daily Dell used to just be chilling, like, just regular, like I felt like I could relate to them. And now they're so out of reach. And so what that basically brought up a conversation about was like, is Black luxury something that we're not used to seeing, or is it even possible for you to be relatable as you move up, and so on and so forth? Now, the other side of this conversation, or a continuation of this conversation, is also on Instagram. So being a content creator, if you notice, if you follow my page, I haven't posted since August 22nd on my main page and August 20th on my coaching page, which I'm about to delete. And if you missed the announcement, go on my coaching page, you'll see it, follow my other page, to keep up with me. But I took a break because it just was feeling like a rat race. Now for me, I'm one of those people that if God tells me it's time to take a break, if I feel led to take a break, I'm gonna take a break. So I usually end up taking a break from social media at least once a year as a form of fasting. But in this particular case, I was really burned out because it was such a rat race. It's like you're keeping up with this, you're keeping up with that. If you don't post something, the algorithm doesn't show you out and this and that. And we've all, as Black content creators, have come to the consensus and the realization that the algorithm does not favor Black content creators. And I'll probably chime in with more detail about that later in this live. Hopefully I don't forget. If I do, then I'll just have to do a video on my channel or something like that to continue. But it's frustrating because you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, chasing the likes, chasing the comments, and what is it getting you? Because you're not getting paid off of this stuff, you know? It's not to say you got 1,000 likes, you got $1,000. If that's the case, like my post all day, you know? But it's like you got clout and you still broke, you still living your regular life type of thing. And so a lot of us are just getting tired. And then when I realized that this was really like becoming a thing, is when I saw Alan Carr. So if you don't watch a lot of like faith-based Christian channels, Alan Carr is a Christian YouTuber, shares biblical truth, really breaks down like hot topics in Christianity and all that. And he said he's fallen back from Instagram and he's got almost 1 million subs on YouTube and stuff like that. So when he said, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is really becoming like a mass exodus at this point. And it's no coincidence that this is around the same time that Facebook, has changed their name to Metaverse. Did you know that, Mom? They changed, they changed their name to Metaverse to represent all that they do and stuff like that. So I think there's just a tide coming, and that happens with social media. You know, when I'm the last generation that was born remembering a time without social media. Like I remember when cell phones came out. I remember when we had Facebook and MySpace and My Yearbook and High Five and that, not Bad Dude, there was another one, but I remember all these and we were like, oh my gosh, like we can meet people online and Black Planet and all that, you know, and it was not what it is today. Like we had Facebook, but we weren't using it the way we use it now. You had to have a college email address, someone from your school or a school email address, someone from your school had to vouch for you saying, yes, this is a student. You know, it was like a whole thing. Like you just couldn't sign up. And now everybody and their grandmother can have a YouTube, can have literally, because she's a grandmother and she's on YouTube, can have a YouTube, can have a Facebook, whatever. So it's just inundated. It's not what it was. Like life as we know it is almost like, control might be a strong word, but I feel like we're very much controlled and swayed by the throes of social media. So needless to say, in short, there are two sides of the same coin. Content consumers feel like social media is becoming too fake, too classist and unrelatable. And content creators are feeling like social media is becoming a rat race and it's getting harder and harder to stay relevant and be recommended based on the algorithm. So with all of that said, we got 5 questions or points of discussion today that we're going to dive into. And my mom's going to give her opinions. I'll talk, and you guys in the comments, so the replay even, feel free to comment your opinions as well. So the first point of discussion is, what are your thoughts about social media being a breeding ground for comparison and covetousness?
Social media is indeed a breeding ground for covetousness. It's getting worse. And why I say that, as people go on social media to feel good about themselves, and when they go on to Facebook or whatever, and whoever they are, people are on there saying, and this is my opinion, so I'm just giving my opinion. People are on there, you know, showing off their husbands, we hope, and their expensive rings and their cars and their house, we hope, because anyone can rent a house and call it theirs and take pictures and call it theirs and put it on social media. And that's why people need to pull back, stop, think. Because not everything, and again, this is my opinion, that you see on social media may be the truth. Because people put these things up because it makes them feel better. But if you were to become a fly on the wall, then you see their lives as worse than you thought that anybody could have lived. So people should not take what they see on social media for gospel. They should not covet what they see someone post, say that they have it, or this is my house and my husband did this and I got this. And don't do that. Because in this life, whatever is for you, you will get it. And if that's their blessing and it is true, well then God bless them and you be happy for them. But you don't start competing and getting all upset. Then you start to get mental problems because now you're trying to compete with a space because you don't know these people. You have never met them. Mm-hmm. You probably will never, ever meet them. And you're getting all upset and bent out of shape over what they say they have. You don't know if this is true. This is not your mom, your grandmother, your sister, or so that you next day you could say, girl, you should not have done that because you know that ain't true.
Mm-hmm.
These people are people you have never met and may never meet. And they can say whatever they want to say because people can say whatever they want to say. They can say, I have this, I have that. They can rent an expensive dress. Remember, you can rent them. Mm-hmm. They can rent an expensive dress and put it on, the dress, the shoes, everything. And they take those pictures. Then you see it and you get all upset. Do not get covetous over what anybody has, and don't knock yourself if you don't have that. Because if you don't have it now, when they're saying that they have it, and if they do have it, then it is not your time. Mm-hmm. When it is your time, you will get it, and you will probably even be more blessed than they are if they really have those things. So what you do, you see it and you say, oh, that's very nice. Maybe someday I will get there. But you continue to do what you are doing. Work on your dreams. Plan out your life. Stick to what you want. Don't try to break the cycle to get what somebody else has, because that may not be for you. Mm-hmm. So you continue to work and you pray and you believe and you have faith and you work diligently towards what you want, and you always wish another person well. Whether you know them or not, you see it and you say, oh, that's wonderful. She's doing well.
Yeah, and I think social media definitely is a breeding ground for covetousness, because we're fed so much stuff every day. Like, again, like I said, I remember life before social media. Like, I did not know what every Tom, Dick, and Harry was doing. I didn't care. It was just like, I'm living my life, because social media didn't really get to what it is, like the beginning parts of what it is today, until 2005, 2006. I was a senior in high school. So before 2005, 2006, it was like, you just didn't know. Because I mean, like, MySpace was there, but MySpace, we didn't use it like we do social media today. Like, you were posting your cute pictures, you had your top 8, you used to have your little music, whatever song was hot at the time on your profile, and that was that. And same with Black Planet. But then, even when Facebook came about, because Instagram didn't come about until I think 2011 or something like that. Instagram is pretty new still. But when Facebook first started, even then it wasn't bad. Like, it didn't really get to a point now where people are falling into whole depressions, anxiety is being triggered, feeling, bad about themselves and inadequate and stuff. I would say until about 2014. No, I would say about 2013. Because I remember I got rid of social media for a whole year, from 2013 to 2014, because I was like, it's too much. So at that point, around 2013, is when it got bad. But from like 2005 to about 2013, it wasn't too bad. Like, you had moments, but it wasn't like, this is getting to be OD, But 2013, around then, it was like, yo, this is too much. Like, every time I turn around, it's someone boasting, it's someone bragging, it's someone doing all this. And it wasn't even, I don't think, to the level it is now, where, like my mom said, people rent homes. Like, this is the whole thing. I think there was a documentary on Netflix about it, about this guy that like went and found 3 privileged youth in LA or something like that, and he was like, I can make you Instagram famous, I can make you internet famous or whatever, if you just let me. And 2 of them declined, but one of them, she was all into it. And it basically was that, like, they staged photos in fancy hotels, they staged photos on private jets, they staged photos in Airbnbs, they fancy restaurants, like literally just going to a hotel lobby, taking pictures, and you'd be like, dang, like, every time I turn around, their vacation and stuff, whole time it's staged. Like, they didn't stay in that hotel, they didn't fly on that jet, they didn't do any of that. Exactly. But it's all staged, and so you look at it and you're being fed this like false reality of like, this is my life,
That's not their life.
Yeah.
I remember when Facebook started, because I asked you guys a bunch of questions. What is that? Why do you have to be on that? It started with college students. Mm-hmm. That time you guys were going to UMBC. And that's all that you did with it. You couldn't do it, well, not you couldn't, but they weren't making money as they're making now. And I think at that time they didn't think that it could make them billionaires. Mm-hmm. So it was just a focus on college students. And then all of a sudden, Facebook is having depressed people and people taking their lives and all. For what? Mm-hmm. You don't even know these people to know this. This is not your school friend. And she put that up. I know she ain't doing that. and you would call them on the phone or send them a text or whatever and say, when did you buy the house? And then you get a laughter. I didn't buy a house, we're just doing this for fun. And then, do not covet people's stuff because you don't know. My grandmother used to say, even if you know someone and they have wealth and they build things which would them so you know it's legit, she always said, don't covet what other people have because it is not yours and it was not yours to have at this time. She said, and when you see people have things, always stop and think, what did they do to get to where they're at? And would I do what they did to get it? She always said that. So that's why you don't covet people's things, that they have that, good for them. You work on your plan.
Yeah.
And if you give it your all, you will be rewarded. Maybe you might want to be a trillionaire. You won't become a trillionaire, but you become a millionaire.
And I think it's hard to stay in that mindset too when you're overusing social media because the human mind is almost like programmed to compare. You're almost programmed to look at yourself and be like, dang, like what's going on with me, and especially when you're being fed a common image of what's considered to be successful or normal or, bring you joy or peace or whatever. And so when you are fed like, this is what you need, this is the standard of living you need to have in order to be successful, in order to be happy, in order to be like a contributing member of society or whatever, and you're not there, then it's like, you're going to start to feel less than. So if you're not monitoring yourself and saying like, you know what, let me hop off social media. If you're not putting parameters in place, you're going to lose it. Not to mention that I think, even though this is a whole other conversation, I really think social media is making us lose our ability to connect with humans, like in person.
Indeed.
Because before social media, it was so much easier to like go out and just meet someone. You could go to a party, you could go to the grocery store, coffee shop, the library, and just strike up a conversation. No, people weren't in their cell phones 24/7. People weren't always on their Snapchats, their Instagram lives, whatever the case may be, or ears plugged listening to something, even if you're just consuming content. But now it's like so hard to go out and just meet someone organically. Like honestly, you really have to make an intentional effort to like position yourself to be approached and to kind of like almost show like, yeah, I'm open for conversation because everyone's ears are plugged, everyone's head is buried in their phone. Everybody's just like
conversation's gone out the window. Even with your medical records and all that stuff. I know back in the good old days, you call the phone to talk to your doctor. You don't go through 1,000, press this, press that, press that, press that. Secretary will answer. Well, doctor is with a patient. He wouldn't be free until such a time, but he would call you back. Promptly, he will call you back when they said he will call you back. Now you have to go to this person and that person, and then you get placed on hold, and then you leave a message, and then you may get a call back between 24 to 48 hours, and you want this, and somebody gonna text you. First, you just call them, and they answer their phone, and you said, well, look, I would like you to do this or that, or that if it's a family member. The family members texting. Nobody carries on a conversation. People don't even, social media has become so horrible, I call it these days, is that back in the day when we wrote a note to somebody, we had to spell out the words. Now when you see things, a lot of young people cannot even write. They don't know how to write because they put these LOL. I had to ask that. Last year I found out what LOL was. It's like, I always see LOL. What is that? That's not an English word. And then I found out what, and all these things. That's not good for society.
And then a lot of people can't speak as well. Like I remember there was one guy I was talking to for about a year, totally wasting my time. But that was our main problem. He doesn't talk. He doesn't call. He doesn't make the effort. Texting, a text here or there isn't going to work. And a lot of people just don't have that capacity to talk. I'm like, me and my mom live together, and when I'm out working, as long as I have time, because sometimes I really just want to be in my head and my own thoughts or whatever. But if I'm in the mood to talk, I have time. We be talking for like 4, 5, 6 hours while I'm on the, like I just left the house and we're talking for 4, 5, 6 hours on the phone. Then we come home, we talk again. Like conversation, human connection is being lost. So, that's another side of it. Like I said, that's a whole nother live stream. So the second talking point is, do you feel like we are losing authentic and relatable content creators online?
Well, I would think so, because how do we know who's authentic?
True.
We don't know who's authentic because the real people. At first, they will come over to you and you say, "Oh, this person sounds," and they might be, very genuine and everything else. And then I come on and I see what she says or something, and then I start to take her content and copy it and start to do what she's doing, but I don't know what she's doing. And then somewhere along the line, you're going to notice, wait, this is kind of different. Didn't I see this thing in so and so's feed or something like that? So how do you know who is authentic? I don't. It's
True.
very hard, and so because you don't know who is authentic, some people will not follow at all because they don't know who they're following. If this is true, if what they don't know anything. So it's becoming harder and harder for someone who is real and will give it their true self for them to really make it to the top.
Yeah.
Because when you have fake people in between, it's making it hard for you.
And that's the thing what about relatable? Because I feel like the difference between authentic and relatable is like authentic means I'm really presenting myself as who I am. Like if you were to catch me in my everyday life and then you compare it to my online presence, it'll pretty much be the same. But relatable to me is like you find someone, you're like, wow, like I resonate with them. Like I feel like a deeper connection, like, do you feel like there are relatable content creators?
Yes. Yes, there are people out there that, you find them and you can really relate to them on a one-on-one. They suddenly become a friend, a genuine friend, and that kind of stuff. But it is hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pinpoint who is who.
And that's another thing too, because in this conversation, so in that viral TikTok, Jackie I know was brought up, but I'm saying her name because she already addressed this on her channel and stuff like that. But in the comments, people were like, "Oh yeah, I don't watch her videos anymore. I don't relate to her. This and that. She's not authentic. Blah blah blah." But to me, and other people have said this too, I never looked at Jackie and said, "Wow, I relate to her so much." Did I enjoy her videos? Yeah, but for one, I stopped consuming makeup videos years ago because I just don't have that kind of time, and I pretty much know the makeup I like and stuff now. But when I do catch her videos, I do enjoy watching it. But I never really am in the space of like, wow, she's so relatable because we're just different. We live different lives. She's always lived a different life than me. So it's just like, but again, I think for the millennials and the older generations, we were introduced to social media in a different way. So for us, I don't feel by and large looking for, hey, Yasmin, I don't feel by and large we're looking for a sense of relatability online where it's like, I need to find someone that I relate to. I think for us, it's more so like, is this person giving good tips, good, thinking points, whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm just taking from there.
From there.
But the younger generations, I feel like for them, it's like I want to find that relatability because they were born into social media as we know it. Like by the time they hit elementary school, junior high, whatever. But I do feel like a part of the reason why we're losing a sense of authenticity online is because people don't want the real. And I pride myself on being an authentic content creator. And this isn't just me saying this. People tell me this all the time. Like, wow, you're so transparent and authentic. Those are the two words I get. And I came in the online space with the goal to be transparent, to share struggles of the modern Christian life and just being a Black woman, first generation American, whatever, in this country, basically what sums me up. But I also wanted to be authentic. And I can vouch that I'm authentic because I've met up with some of my subscribers in real life or like I talk to them on the phone and stuff. And they're like, wow, like you really are who you are online. I'm just like, yes, like mission accomplished, But like, I'm so glad when they say that because I really try to show up in my raw essence. Like I'm not Daily Dell. I am by the brand, but I really am Rondell when I'm online. So you're not going to see, any varying or crazy varying differences between who I am. And if you were to like catch me at a Walmart or catch me at a concert or something like that, like I'm going to be who I am. And my mom is like that too. Like, this is her. She's not going to be different if you see her in real life, And I mean, she really be showing herself because like on the last Food of Fellowship, she was calling out people speaking in tongues. And so I was like, oh my Lord. Like I was trying not to bring it up. Thank God no one found it yet. I hope that's one video that doesn't go viral because they're going to be tearing her up in the comments. And then I got to be the one to help her. And that is not protecting my peace. But people don't want the real. So when you show up and you're showing your real regular life, your real authentic life, that doesn't get the likes. And I can tell you, even just being an Instagrammer, because for a while I was doing Instagram as often as YouTube, And when I would put up something real, like a picture of just me combing Christian's hair, me sitting on the couch or something, and maybe just put a basic caption, like nothing crazy, it didn't get crazy engagement. Like it was a faithful few based on my following that were liking the content. But if I put up a bomb picture, edited, filtered, outfit, just on fleek, hair fried, dye, laid to the side, I'm on vacation, on a cruise ship, or in front of a fancy restaurant, palm trees, something, everyone's going, and I don't even have to say nothing. I can just put up the picture and be like, summer, and people be like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing, So people don't really want the regular life anymore. They don't want that. They want to see what we would call the aspirational content, the Kardashian stuff, the, Sierras, and, we love Sierra, we do, but they want to see the aspirational stuff, the Stephen Currys and Aisha Currys, that's what they want. They don't want to see the regular mom that is raising her kids. They don't want to see a regular meal being cooked, like my mom making the salad or whatever, the sweet potato salad. Okay. Well, she already made it. It's a quick meal.
So just put it together. There's nothing to be excited. But
it's
good, but it's not long.
Yeah, and it's good for vegans and vegetarians. But I'm telling you guys, in summer, all you gotta do is put that one word, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, like it's amazing. We stand." So because of that, as a content creator, you get paid based on your engagement. So if you're not getting the engagement on your authentic content, what are you going to do? You're going to be tempted to become fake and become aspirational. Exactly. So you're like, I got to get paid at the end of the day. Like, the lights ain't going to pay the bills. So now you're tempted to go rent that Airbnb and take pictures. And this is no shade to people that do that. Heck, we were talking about doing that maybe next year,
Yeah, rent the Airbnb and then have a class.
Exactly.
I got a class in my space, my house.
Exactly. So I'm not throwing shade. Like, I'll ultimately do what you got to do, but just don't do anything unethical, immoral, those kind of things. But it just makes you want to go to those extents because you're like, okay, well, if I put up this kind of content and it's getting the engagement, and I need the engagement to get paid from sponsors or whatever, then I'm gonna do what's gonna help me get paid. So it's kind of like a back and forth. It's like you want to be real, but you show up as your real self. People don't receive it, and you're like, okay, let me be fake. Let me be a little fake.
They don't want to live with reality. No, everybody wants to live in a dream world. Nobody wants to live with reality. Reality is what gets you through. Because when you live in this dream world, then you start to see more and more and more of this fake stuff, and then it depends on who you are, how you're made up. Then you start to get all messed up, and you start to think about, well, why am I living, and this and that, and then you kill yourself. I've been living so long, and I have seen everything there is to see, good, bad, and indifferent. But no time at all have I never gotten that angry and that depressed that I start to lose myself. And that's the key. You cannot lose yourself. What you see is what you get. I am who I am, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And you have to be like that. You might have to rent a house because depending on the people who follow you, they may want to see you in a mansion, even though they know deep down in their hearts, even they don't listen to the heart, that you own that mansion, but they want to see that, and that tells them that, that's cool, the person I'm following that. But don't ever lose yourself. Don't ever lose yourself, because that's when everything is going to go up in flames.
Yeah. And for people joining the conversation late, this conversation stemmed from the viral TikTok about how young Black women don't feel like they're relatable Black content creators anymore, particularly YouTubers, but we're throwing in Instagram. Because I've also seen a lot of conversations about people saying they're leaving Instagram or they're just falling back from it. If you follow me, I haven't posted personally on my feed since August. So it's just like a lot of stuff going on in the social media space where people are just tired and they don't feel like they can relate. And they're tired of the rat race as content creators, but they're also tired of like the fake content and all of that as content consumers. And I think another thing that really resonated with me that the TikToker that brought this topic into summary said is that this generation is more eyes wide open to, classism, how people spend their money, inflation. Like, we're reaching a peak in society where people, like, at one point in time, if you look in the early 1900s, particularly in the Black community. And I learned this in that documentary about Idlewild in Michigan. And I think the Green Book too, where it was like aspirational to have a Chevy. Like if you had a Chevy, you were doing big things in the 40s, 50s. Like to even have a vehicle as a Black person at that point, it was like, wow, like you really getting it. And so because we came from so much lack, it was like we strive to have a big house, have the fancy cars, have the things that you can't have. And then even as an immigrant, coming to this country, that's something that you strive for, because it's like in your country, I mean, you had a privileged background, but a lot of people don't have that. So they come here and they're like, okay, I have a chance to live the American dream. So I can come here, I can go to school, get the good job, buy the house, make a better life for my kids so they don't have to see all the stuff that I saw. And so it became that thing, like this is the model of success. And then somewhere along the line, I feel, especially in the early 2000s, you saw the rise of people like pursuing the tiny house, selling their cars, like living more off the land, like, just kind of wanted to go back to simple basics. Like
that simple life.
Yeah, like I'm tired of, having to chase the mansion and the Bentley and the this and the that. Like I just want to live a simple life. And I just want to create my own version of happiness. And you saw the rise of people like wanting to travel and be expats to other countries, and just kind of getting tired of the American dream.
Yes, you have to go to other countries to see how people live, to understand the world.
Exactly.
And for me, I grew up with, as she said, a privileged life. My father was a member of parliament, because Guyana is the structure of the government is like Europe, proportional representation. America's winner takes all. So everybody who win a seat, all the different parties may have two people here, one person here, but you have the majority party. And everybody has a say. And I grew up with the maids and the chauffeurs and the all kinds of stuff, the fancy schools, the private school, the top high school. But there was one thing, and I always say, I thank my mother for doing that. There was one thing with my mother that she always said. People would come and they would see me, because most of the homes in Ghana, they're on stilts. And if your house is on a stilt, every morning you wipe it down your step, because these people keep their house like spotless. And people would come and see me sweeping the yard or washing down the concrete and so on. They would say to my mother, "Why you got a girl doing that?" And she going to she going to Bishop's High School, because that was the name of the top girls' high school in Ghana. And then she would listen and she said, "Are you done?" She said she's going to learn. She has to learn, because this is my life. I don't know if she's going to find a husband like her dad, that she can have the maids and the this and the that and the whatever else. So she has to learn that this is not the way everybody lives. And around where we live, they have to take food to the elderly on Sundays after church. They cook and they pack these baskets, and we have to go to. We didn't dare tell them that we're not going to do it, because they give you some licking. So you have on your fancy dress that you go to church and your hat and everything, and you go and you drop off the food where they send you to drop it off. You're up and down the street going to this person. Okay, you only got 2 hands, and if you got 12 people, that makes 6 trips. So they have you up and down in the sun going to drop off these things. But they let you learn. In this country especially, people, well, I'm going to say it as I see it, lie to their children. They don't want the children to know their struggles. You want to pretend that, every Christmas you're going to buy them the most expensive toy. Well, yes, if you have credit cards, maybe you can. I live in America. I never really had no real credit cards. We always paid cash, write a check, whatever, for our stuff. And they give the children this impression that this is the way you're supposed to live. Then TV doesn't help. You see all these rich people and showing off the designer clothes, and the young people think that they should have that. But everyone in the world will not. Not they should not have it. They should have it if they want it.
They will not.
But they will not.
It's impossible for everybody to be wealthy. Like, let's just be honest. It's impossible for everybody to be wealthy. It's impossible for everybody to live the quote unquote best designer, high class life. It's just impossible. But what shouldn't be the case is what we're seeing a lot in this country, in the US, where people, and this is why I think this new generation or new generations like Gen Z, Alpha generation, etc., are just more hyper aware of classism and stuff because the wool has been pulled from their eyes, especially with everything going on with the 19. We're not going to say the whole word because it's going to kill monetization, but the 19 and just the reality of like so many people are below poverty level. So many people are paycheck to paycheck. So many people don't have a savings account. And why is it that majority of the population in the country with so many people that work so hard barely have two $20 bills to rub together, and even that's a luxury, the thought of having that to even do. Exactly. But you have the top 1 to 20% who have everything and control everything and literally steer everybody else's lives based on the policies they make and stuff.
20%?
Like it's just
not even 1% of the
the 1% is the most powerful, but we're talking wealthy, like over a certain income bracket. So the top 20% over a certain income bracket. But if you're talking the rule makers and regulators, yeah, top 1%. So it's just like, why is that? Like, why? It doesn't make sense. And so I think when they come online now in a space like YouTube or Instagram, and they're like, okay, like this is my mental escape just to kind of take me away from the pressures and the frustrations of my life, of the fact that I'm pushing 30 and still broke. My parents at my age were already married, owned a home, had a car, the 2.5 kids and the dog, and I don't have that. And I come online and I'm faced with the very thing that I'm pressured by in real life. Exactly. So I think that's what makes them like, there's no more authenticity. Like I think basically in short for this point, because we have 3 more, is that I think you're going to see a rise of the regular life content creator, the person that lives in that regular home, the person that drives that regular car, the person that even if they might have a way better tax bracket than you don't feel it when you're watching their content. It's like, man, I feel like this is my homegirl, and someone that does a good job of this is one of my favorite YouTubers, Love Your Natural. This girl, I don't know what her net worth really is. If you look online, it says anywhere from like 300,000-400,000 to a couple million. I don't really know, but I know the woman's definitely making 6 figures, and not barely 6 figures, at least mid 6 figures or more. And she is so relatable. One, I think that it helps that she doesn't show us where she lives. She doesn't show us all the nitty gritty of her life and all that. Like she'll let us know, oh, I'm in Miami or I'm going on a trip or whatever, but her content is presented in such a way where it's like, she probably can just completely crap on you financially, but you feel like she's your sister, your best friend, your cousin, because of her spirit, her energy, the way she comes online. Another one that does that is Pastor R.C. Blakes. I mean, he really is living a good life. It wasn't always that way because he shares his testimony. But again, you feel like he's just your father, like he's just your uncle, depending on how old you are, or whatever, just sharing wisdom with you. He's not out here showing you his Bentleys, showing you his private jets, showing you, I don't even know if he has that stuff. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But he's not out here showing you the shopping spree, luxury shopping, like he's just a regular guy. She's just a regular girl. She just bought a house. And she shared it with us on her channel, on her Instagram. We're like, oh my gosh, congratulations, this and that. But she's still just doing regular videos, hanging out with her sisters in a regular way, going bowling, going out to eat, like just regular living, but she's making good money. And so it's like, I think it is possible to do that, because that goes into our third talking point. Do you feel as content creators start to make more money that they should showcase their lifestyle, their glow up, on the internet?
No, not a little bit showing that, if you work hard, you could get this little thing. But if you buy, this is me again, if I buy a 20,000 square foot house, why would I come on the internet and show the people that follow me that I buy a 20,000 square foot house? I don't think it's wise, because what you do right there is you kill the spirit of the people that follow you. They're following you because you are telling them something that they are learning from, and they know you're doing well. But let them wonder. Let it be a mystery to them. I wonder what her house looks like. I wonder what car she drives. If you used to wear raggedy clothes, well, you put on a little nicer dress or so. But never, ever do that. Because when you do that, you kill people's spirit. Even though most of them, it would not be envy, but their jaw would drop, Wow, I've been following her for 5 years, and look what she got, and I got nothing.
And that's another thing too. I want to pause you and say about the envy part. Oh, no problem. No problem, Yasmin. Thanks for sticking around. But a lot of people be quick to say, "Oh, you a hater. You a hater. If you don't clap for someone, you da da da." And I've said this on other videos I've had. A lot of the people that you label as haters, they don't genuinely hate you. They don't genuinely hate the fact that you're succeeding. They are just at a point where they might be dissatisfied with their life. Maybe they're going through a lot, because we always like to say like, oh, you could do it. You know, you're just not pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. You're just not putting in the work. And sometimes that is the case, you know, because I was literally just talking to my mom earlier about how people don't want to sacrifice. People don't want to do things to reach the next level. But you honestly can have life kicking you in the rear end. I mean, we know from when we moved here. We just now seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's been 2 years. And this is just an isolated. We're not even talking since 2009 when we lost our family home. That was just an isolated event. But it's like you're trying, you're putting in the work, you're really giving it your best shot, and life is just like boom, 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 boom. So when you go online, like I said, that's your form of escapism, and now you're like, dang, like another person winning, and I'm sitting here struggling, like, you know, I'm just trying, like, you know, it's almost like a self-pity thing, which I'm not saying we should have self-pity, but it's reality. Like, you're human, you're gonna feel some type of way if you know you're putting in the work and you're trying to have integrity and trying to be honest. It's like, God, like, did you forget about me? Exactly. You know, what's going on?
When is my time gonna come?
Exactly, you know? And so I just wanted to say that, but you can keep going on about that part.
Yes, you know, you just don't do it. I personally think that you shouldn't, because, you know, whether you're on the internet or not, when you accomplish certain things in life, you don't tell that to every single person that you know.
Yeah, not to mention for safety reasons. Why
Exactly.
would I go? Because people be doing the most of these house tours. They be showing you too much, and I'm like, then you wonder why you got stalkers or you got people coming to your house. And Alan Carr, he brought up a good point about this. One of his older videos about boasting, or like people just. I think it was things that people should stop doing online or something like that. But it was like people do those things and they label it as inspiration, but it's really just a way for them to boast. And he's like, people really shouldn't know like what exactly a house looks like, exactly. What kind of car you drive, how much money you make. Like, people shouldn't know all of that, because he was like, at the end of the day, it's like, one, it's not savory. Honestly, it's not safe, it's not savory. But two, it's like, are you really doing that to inspire, or is that your platform to boast? And be like, yeah, I got this mansion. I'm, you know, y'all can't see me.
Exactly.
Y'all can't see me with the wraith, you know.
And let people see my street.
Exactly.
And then silly me, who wants to boast, turn in the street, so they just saw the street name, then they see the number of the lot of my house out here, then I'm turning in on the driveway, so they say, oh yeah, that's our car, that's our house. And then they see my house, then I open the door to let them see the furniture and the drapes and the this and the that that you have. You do not do that.
Even when I did our house tour after we got this house, because I had shared our testimony about being homeless while we were still homeless and stuff, and everyone kind of got invested. My A1 Day 1 subscribers, they got invested. So on the thumbnail is the front of our house, but I took it at such an angle where you don't know the street, you don't know the house number, and it's kind of like transparent in the background, so you really can't even really see it for real, because I put lettering over it. But you know, I did it in a way where it's like a faint image of like, you know, like that kind of thing.
You know, we haven't done, we bought some furniture and stuff, but we haven't put up drapes or things.
Yeah,
like
I haven't done any.
We haven't done anything because we're too busy trying to get out of the
hole. Because I was gonna do house, and my mom's gonna do home decor videos and stuff, but there's nothing to show right now. Like, y'all ain't missing nothing.
Yeah, no, true. Nothing you're missing.
So it's real
basic.
basic.
All you're gonna see is chairs and well, the dining room got the right rug. The rest just got some things showing the floor that you look like rugs.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping me that this Christmas I'll be able to do like the drapes and a little bit more and get some plants. Now, when I'm doing that, you know, you guys can decorate with me. I'll be moving around and she taking pictures and you know taking them. But I don't have a mansion.
Yeah, it's real. Our house is
a mansion, and I'm still not going to be showing this off. And so, because I might be disgusted with this and saying, "Oh, this house was my house was so big," but you know, many people don't have this size of house.
Yeah.
It has 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I'm accustomed to 6 bedrooms and 6 baths. But I'm getting that no time soon because I'm 71 years old. Who's giving me a mortgage for that kind of house? Never. So I'm getting that anytime soon unless I have cash. And, you know, you had so many rooms, this room and that room. And this house, it suits a regular family. It has a dining room, a formal dining room, a living room, a nice kitchen with the island. That's what I love the most because I love to cook. It has a little space for the
literally
kitchen
has just
table.
what you need, right?
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs, the bedrooms have space for everybody. Christian got a cool bedroom. That bedroom, I would say, Rhonda should show Christian bedroom.
Yeah, I do have to do that on my channel.
Yes,
his color routine.
You know how we would wallpaper and put the border. Well, his border is his alphabet, the days of the week, the months in the year, the numbers, and it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty because everything is his learning all around that form the border. So it makes it so cute. But we live in an ordinary place, and I'm still not going to show this to anybody. But I think just like that because I have a lot of people who would love this and can't get to it.
Yeah, but I think as far as the authenticity bit, showing a house like this will be a breath of fresh air in the world of fake and inauthentic and aspirational content. Who will be like, oh, finally someone with a normal house, like like someone who drives a Toyota, not a Bentley, like just a right, like where are the regular people at?
We drive a regular car, and we still got to fix up the garage and pack away the things that we have to store. Things we have to store. You still got to buy the shelving and the containers and work on it before the end of the year because I'm being told about it every day. You need to do it before you get snake in the space. But I can't do it alone. I don't see much. So the people who are giving me the lecture got to take the time off to help me to do it.
But I do think I do aim to remain obviously authentic. I always want to be myself, but I do aim to at least try my best to be relatable, even as I continue to grow. Because, like I said, I look at people like Love Your Natural, RC Blakes, and these people that have the following, have the wealth, have the lifestyle, but I don't feel like, oh Lord, they feel they better. Like they feel so relatable. Like you can't help but relate to them and just feel like this is really my best friend. And I strive to stay that way. No matter how big I get, I want to remain that way because I think people need that. And even though I know I'm not responsible for the world's mental health, I think we do have a part to play as content creators because we are feeding. We're feeding people images and messages just like the commercials do, just like big media does. So I think we do have a responsibility to mind like the message that we're putting out there overtly and subliminally. What are you translating? What are you communicating in your content? Like, what are you really showing up for? And particularly as Christian creators, we're supposed to be in the world, not of it. So you should definitely not be showing up like the rest of the world is showing up if you are marketing yourself as a Christian content creator, because we have a bigger responsibility, not just as creators, but as ambassadors of the kingdom of heaven. So, it's like, just like I did on my morning motivation. Just like I did in my morning motivation, I'm like, everybody's not meant to be a leader. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be a public figure. It's not for everybody because not the restrictions, the weight of it is heavier on those in the position. It's just like why God gives restrictions or let me not say restrictions, the regulations and stuff for pastors and elders, because you're not just part of the congregation. You're now leading the flock. You have a responsibility, whether you want to accept that or not. Yes, it's unfair, quote unquote, but that's the name of the game. It costs to be the boss. So if you're going to be a leader, you got to take up the yoke. You got to take it up and you got to really mind what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're showing up. But that was the third one. So for me, do I feel like they should show their glow up? I feel like you can show it, like my mom said, in moderation. Like, obviously, as we start making more money, you're going to see our clothing is going to be a little different. You're going to see these wigs get a little fancier. You're going to see little stuff like, okay, I see you. That nobody, push anybody over there. Exactly. I'm going to get my teeth fixed, stuff like that. But I'm not going to be out here like, oh, my third vacation this month in Bali or what. Like, I'm not going to be doing the most. Like, you can't do that. That's not right. I personally feel that's not right. Yeah, and I'm not going to be showing you, luxury bag shopping and this and that. Like, for those who do it, like I said, more power to you. But for me, I just feel like that would definitely be a mark of me doing something just for the clout, just for the money, just for the engagement, instead of showing up as my authentic self. Because in my real life, I don't even like buying designer like that, just because I'm like, unless I know I can reinvest it. So certain handbags, certain brands, I'm like, okay, this is an investment piece because you can reinvest it if need be. But, gold, things like that. But I'm not going to just go splurging on designer just because, like, I'm very much a cheapskate when it comes to things like that. I'm like, as long as I look cute, I don't care if I got it from Ross or if I got it from Neiman Marcus. As long as I look cute, I don't really care. So
as long as you're clean.
Yeah.
And you buy something that suits your shape and your complexion and everything else, and you look dressed for the occasion, It doesn't have to cost $16,000 for a dress.
Nah.
But why are you paying $16,000 for a dress anyway? Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a little OD for me. And even certain bags like Birkins and stuff, I don't know if I would ever buy a Birkin bag, even if I could afford it. Because I'm like, that's a whole car, a house in some places. I'm like, I can't bring myself to do it. It's just it's a little too much. It's a little too much for me personally. More power to you if that's what you want, but I just don't see the need to have a closet full of Birkins and things like that.
Yes,
like,
it's to each his own.
Yeah.
People do what people want to do.
Yeah.
But for me, if you have that kind of money to spend on a dress, to go out somewhere, you're going to wear it one night, the next time you're going out, because of vanity, you're not going to wear that same $16,000 dress. You're going to go buy one for the same price or even higher. Now, instead of doing that, why don't you form a foundation and help the needy? This world got a lot of needy, but America has a lot of people who cannot eat 3 meals, who cannot buy clothes for their children.
Very prevalent here.
I mean, come on, let's share among those who are less fortunate. Do something that makes sense.
That goes back to that sentiment, like I said, where these younger generations are more aware of classism and just the wage gap and things that just is like, okay, like I get it, you work hard, you deserve the fruits of your labor. We're not saying that you should never be wealthy if you put in the work and the grit and all that. But such a disparity where there's like no middle class basically at this point, and people are literally working their behinds off to still be robbing, pay to pay. Like people are just, the wool is pulled from their eyes.
And then say you're lazy.
Right.
You're working 3 jobs and you can't pay the rent because the rent is $2,000 and you bring home $2,000 for the whole month. So if the rent is $2,000 and you bring home $2,000 for the whole month, no matter what a dump you are, when you subtract that, there's zero. So where the food comes from and where did this come from and the education for the
that's what people are realizing. Like, and it's unfair at this point. It's inhumane and it's just unreasonable. And I was listening to a YouTuber earlier. He was saying like, we can't continue like this. If we continue down this path, we're going to rip at the seams, and there's going to be a revolution, and the revolution will not be televised. So it's just like you do not. It's just people can't survive like this. People can't survive like this. It's too much. So, needless to say, that was the third talking point. So the fourth one is: do you think it's possible to make more money, elevate your lifestyle, and still be relatable?
Of course, but it's all up to you.
Yeah, I think it depends on how your energy. So again, going back to those content creators, like I said. They're making well into the 6 figures and they're still relatable. You still feel like that's your homegirl, that's your father, your uncle, whatever. Like, I think it's in how you present it. If you come with the air of like, I'm better than you and I know it, then that's how people are going to perceive it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, some people are always going to be offended. So we're not talking about the exceptions, the people that are always going to be offended, always have a problem with you. We're talking about the main, like the common thread, the mainstream, the majority. I think most people feed off the energy that you give out. And so if your energy is like you're beneath me because I'm a certain tax bracket or whatever, then that makes you less relatable. But if you are, and some people just aren't going to relate to you, depending on their experiences. Like, me being a first generation American, some people are never going to relate to that because that's not their story. Me being a single mother, some people are never going to relate to that. That's not their story. Me being even a content creator, some people aren't going to relate to that. And my mom too. Some people aren't going to relate to us on that because they just consume content. They don't create it. My mom being an immigrant, some people there's some things that you're just never going to relate to. But I feel like even if you don't relate to those areas of someone's life, overall, you can feel like they're relatable because it's a sense of being down to earth, in my opinion. And I'm just going off of, like I said, what my followers, what my subscribers have told me. It's like, I just really feel like you, the girl next door. And the thing is, I think I've mastered being transparent, but still being private. Because when you really think about it, a lot of people feel like, I just know so much about her life. Like, she's like my best friend and stuff. But if you were to really ask them, they really don't know a lot about me. And they don't. And it came out when I did this quiz on my stories last year, just to test the theory and see. And I asked people 10 questions about me. And these are things that some I've shared, some I've alluded to. People bombed that quiz. Like, only one person got maybe 6 right. Most people got 1 or 2 right. And it's like, I shared so much and even still people don't know. So I've mastered the art of like showing up raw, but still showing up private.
Because that's not what they're keeping in their minds.
Exactly.
They're keeping what they're holding on to is not what the actual information that you give, is how you give it. And how you come across to them, or somebody, like, this is my sister next door. So they listen and they just absorb what they need to absorb whichever advice they need or what. But they're not thinking about your whole life history because that's not what they're there for.
Exactly.
They're not there to get your whole life history so they can turn it to a movie called Scandal or something. That's not what they're there for.
Exactly.
They're there for something different. So they're not going to remember. You said, did Yasmin go?
No, I think she's still here. She said she was listening.
Oh, because she got to see the finished product.
Oh yeah, but even if she went off, but even if she went off, it'll be in the recording. You just have to hold the bowl up to the camera. But yeah, so needless to say, I think it's in how you show up and the energy that you put out. I don't try to lead with, oh, this is how many followers I have. Oh, I'm a YouTuber. Oh, I've done this. Like, I don't even bring up my accomplishments unless somebody else brings it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that. Like, I'll be forgetting sometimes. Like, I was in a movie. I was, I be thinking about my life. Like, I've done some pretty cool things, but I was just not.
Yeah, because that's not where you are.
I'm not there. I love to connect with humans. I love to just share experiences. And I love to share my vulnerabilities because I feel like when you are able to be vulnerable with people, one, with my weakness, God can boast and he's strong. And two, I think that's what really connects people to know, like, I'm not alone. I want to be a light. That's my main thing. Like, I want people to know you're not alone. I get it. I feel you. Like, I've been there. I'm probably right there right now as we speak. But that's what makes them feel like, okay, I can take off the mask. I don't have to pretend and smile and fake like I'm always in a good mood. I can be vulnerable with someone because so many people are suffering in silence. And social media, where it used to be fun to just connect, to escape, like I said, to take a load off, now it's becoming a breeding ground for depression, for mental health issues, for comparison.
That's too much nonsense.
Exactly. So, but it sucks because I know so many creators who are authentic. Yasmin's one of them, me, my mom, so many others that I know, and they just don't get pushed out. Ebony is another one. I know so many. It's like, we really be out here creating like inspiring real life content, and it just does not get pushed out to the same level as the aspirational content. And then, also conversations of Black YouTubers and content creators having to fight the algorithm is a whole nother conversation because we don't necessarily get the favoritism that other non-Black creators get because there's a very common image that's pushed out. And that image usually involves like the same. This is what the viral TikToker said. She was like, I get tired of seeing the same thing. Everyone's living in the same house, taking the same trips, driving the same car, wearing the same clothes, using the same makeup. Like, it's just,
that gets boring.
Taking the same type of pictures.
I don't wear any makeup unless somebody puts it on my face, and that's the gospel truth. I don't know to put it on makeup. Never did.
Yeah.
I just put a little brown powder on my face. That's how I grew up. And if I wanted lipstick back in the day when I was going somewhere every day, I put it on, but that was rare too.
Yeah.
When my face gets done, Rondell does it. Rochelle will do a little thing for me. She doesn't have the patience to sit there. Rondell gets me annoyed because you have to keep your head straight and you can't turn this. So, what you see is what you get. This is the natural me.
Yeah.
And now I tie my hair a lot because all the nice hair after my shoulder, it's all gone. Because I get older and I was sick and then it just drop out. But I don't care. I would come and cook in the kitchen and talking to you guys and don't wrap my head if I don't want to. Because that's how my head looks.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be real. Everybody want to be what they're not and pretending and making people feel bad about themselves and, maybe start saying nice things, encouraging words, quoting a few verses from the scripture or something to make somebody's day. Encourage them. And stop showing off your house.
Oh, Yasmin says
where you live.
Yasmin says she's loving the mother-daughter energy. Thanks, y'all. I get to release some of my thoughts on our mom's channel when I do these lives with her. Because my channel, I can't talk about some of the things I want to talk about. I could, but it'll just be off brand. And this is the prime example of what I was talking about, bringing it full circle with the algorithm where I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this, but it's going to throw me off. And
so yes, see that. And then I would call out certain things that I don't like that people doing. She wouldn't do that, and she probably shouldn't because she is young, and I'm hoping that before I die she becomes a millionaire. But I'm big and old, and I had
my mom's with all the smoke.
I had a beautiful life. I had it all, and if I don't have it now, it's because God doesn't want me to have it now. And who want to call me names, feel free to call me names. What do I care? I don't, because it will just fall off of me like how water fall off a dog back.
Yeah.
Because what you see is what you get, and people need to hear the truth. And
Yeah.
somebody has got to tell them. But I know, even though people may not like me along the way doing this chat thing, people will like it. And I will still get to the goal that God wants me to get to.
And honestly, it's good to be a little polarizing. That's why I have some really juicy content ideas coming up, but within the realms of my content. So like talking about taboo topics in the church and in faith. So I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with these topics I have planned, but I'm like, I want to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. There's so many things within the faith and the church and stuff that we do not address, and I'm addressing them. I'm bringing it to my YouTube. So, but you got to just be real about it. And I think too, because like I said earlier, one of the earlier points, it's hard to remain relatable because some people really want to, but then you're thinking about the algorithm. So like for me, what I just said, where it's like, I want to do this, but I'm like, dang, it doesn't even fall in the realm. And because I'm so far knee deep in the algorithm, I just can't afford to make a sudden change right now because I'm at a peak, Now when I get to a certain point, like when I have 5K, 10, then it doesn't matter. I can switch up as much as I want because I'm solid, But when you're at a pivotal point, it's like, this isn't wise to switch right now because it's going to slow me up and I'm too close to be slowed up, So it sucks because the algorithm doesn't give much room for growth. And then the audience too, a lot of times they don't give room for growth either because they be the main ones complaining. And even Jackie Ina said this in her response to the viral TikTok. She was like, we sometimes want to explore, we grow, we get tired of doing the same thing. And so you experiment, you throw something different out there and people just aren't responding to it. They're not liking it. They're not viewing it. They're not coming. So you're like, dang, like, okay, let me go back. Like, we just don't allow people to grow. We don't allow content creators to grow, to evolve, to switch. It's like, stay in this lane. I know you as this, stay right here. And it's like, I'm going to change over time. Like I remember a couple of years ago, Nietzsche B, she's another OG one. I wouldn't say she's the most relatable, and there's no shade to her. I love her, but I think she is authentically being who she is, if that makes sense. I don't think she's showing up being fake, but I don't look at her and say, I relate, So, but again, I'm not from a generation that's looking for relatability and online presence. And I mean, now I'm an online presence, so I get it. But a couple of years ago, like 2015 or so, she did a get ready with me and she shared why she no longer really does makeup videos and stuff. And she was like, I started YouTube in 2009 when it was still pretty fresh. And she was one of the OG beauty gurus. The beauty gurus taught you how to do your makeup. They shared products with you. They, gave you looks, slays, recommendations, all of that. And she was like, my audience at that time was right there with me, where they were trying to learn how to do their makeup. They were trying to take it up a notch with their wig game or their, whatever, their clothes or whatever. And now it's like most of us are married and or we have children. We're just in a different space. We already know what makeup we like. We already know how to do our hair to the degree that we like it, or we go get it done. So now we want to see other stuff. We want to see home decor. We want to see day in the life, as a mom, as a wife. And so that's why she started doing more of that content. Now she does like day in the life of a mom and blogs and family blogs and stuff. And she was like, that's where I'm at. And my audience, for the most part, is there too. So people evolve. Like I don't expect her to be on here doing makeup videos all the time anymore because I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. Like I know what makeup I like. So, but I expect her to change over time. And I think that's what we don't expect. My mom ain't always going to be doing this the way she's doing it now. At some point, she might have a fancy kitchen. No, she not might. She will. We're going to go ahead and claim that. She's going to have a fancy commercial kitchen. Yes. And we're going to be doing cooking classes.
Yes, I have to have the
and all that in person.
Because if I have that, then I don't have to rent an Airbnb to do classes.
Yeah.
Because remember the Airbnb, you're renting it, but you're going to put out most of your money. You're not going to make anything much.
Yeah.
Just to, get the exposure. But when you have a kitchen now, you own that.
Exactly.
And you have the spaces set up right, and then you can have classes and.
So, people, and at that point, people might leave. When I first started on YouTube, I was doing makeup, which some people want me to do more get ready with me. So I probably will do it. I will try to introduce it, but it's not going to be the reigning theme on my channel. Story times and stuff. I was doing that and more hauls and things. And now it's like I'm doing more motivational life coaching, relationship with a dash relationship type stuff. And I lost people along the way, where they're probably like, dang, like I followed her, subscribed for this, but now she's doing that. They haven't unsubscribed, but they just don't watch. You can tell some of the numbers. But then I've gained other people that are like, I love this. This is amazing. So it just comes with the tide. It comes with the change.
Yeah, because some people, you're giving advice on motivational speaking and all of that. Some people don't want to hear that because their mind can't take that.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with you. Like, they don't like you anymore. It's like, no, this is not my thing. So they just fall off and they find somebody who talking about what you used to talk before. I mean, how many years you want to talk about makeup? It's just so much makeup.
Yeah, I do enjoy a good face beat. I do enjoy a good wig. As you guys know, if it's one thing Daily Dale's going to do is twist her hair. You might see a different hairstyle every day of the week. Every time
that gets annoying.
But speaking of which, one of my wigs is supposed to be delivered in a couple minutes to no later than 9 p.m. So we'll see. But nevertheless,
we ain't gonna be here at 9 p.m.
Yeah, but no one should still
leave it out there.
Yeah, I hope they actually deliver it because we taking a trip next week, y'all. But anyways, let's get to this last talking point because we're just over an hour and I don't want people to lose interest on the replay. Hopefully this conversation is good. If you're catching the replay or you're live, let us know. Comment down below. And it's important after the live that y'all comment, even if it's a generic comment, because it does help the algorithm. Here we go. Living what we're talking about the algorithm and stuff. But anyways, the last talking point is, do you personally feel like social media is a rat race now that you're a content creator?
Yes, it is a rat race because you have to keep up. If you don't keep up, you're not going to do very well. You're not going to get to your goals. And besides, it is a rat race, and you also have to protect yourself because when you are not protecting,
why are you down here?
Why is he down there? And
my son is down here.
Different clothes. When you're not protecting yourself and you're not doing certain things, you have to be so careful because everything you do, somebody can watch and take your ideas and your thoughts and run with it, and you're left behind.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, and you have to keep up, and you have to make sure that you have everything in place that no one can take your content or anything and use it because you have to protect yourself.
It's getting desperate out here as content creators. People are getting thirsty for those sponsorships. They're getting thirsty to get monetized because this is a business. Like people, I mean, now I think overall society respects the content creator more than we did 10, 15 years ago. But, it's still hard to just jump in. It's not a business that you could, no business really you could just jump into and start making money today or tomorrow. But content creation can really be a grind. You could be putting out content for 2, 3, 4 years before you start getting paid. So people are starting to get desperate, and it's like you're seeing more people plagiarizing and taking other people's stuff and not giving credit where credit is due. So it could be tough. But for me, I do feel content creation, social media as a content creator is a rat race. Hence why I've been on an Instagram fast particularly since August. And I don't know when I'm gonna come back full throttle, to be honest. I don't know if I ever will. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. I think I'm gonna be on it, but sporadically, like just updates and like the occasional picture that with that caption summer, this kind of thing where it's like fall, still here type of thing, but nothing deep because I just don't have the passion for it. Like Instagram is too much. Now YouTube, I love YouTube, but YouTube is not your traditional social media. It's more like a broadcasting website where you have a chance to share your thoughts, and it's different. You don't have to keep up with too much. But Instagram is too much, and I think I'm gonna be more severely part-time, occasional on it, and just really focus on YouTube, especially now that they've loosened up the community tab and they're showing your content out more, even if people aren't subscribed. Like they're making it kind of feel like social media without all the extra stuff that social media brings. So you can really take advantage of it as a content creator. But I definitely feel it's a rat race because you just feel the pressure to like, oh, I gotta post. If I don't post by this time, I'm gonna, lose engagement. And oh no, I missed a day. My engagement went down. And oh no,
it would give you.
It's too much.
Okay. The older you get, and you have high blood pressure, these kinds of stuff. Before you know it, you have 240 over 140, and you're in some hospital bed. So you have to, you cannot allow it to destroy you.
Exactly. So, and I remember this will be my last point, and then we'll wrap up, and my mom will show the salad. But my brother's girlfriend, the real Edie Marie, she called me the other day, and she said that it's a rat race, and we were just having that real brief discussion. Because she was like, yeah, I'm just feeling like I'm over Instagram. Like, I'm just about to switch platforms altogether. Not that she's deleting her Instagram, but, it's going to be there, but it's not like her main thing. And she's making that shift. And she was like, I just feel it's too much. It's like you feel the constant pressure to always show up and to show what you're doing and to keep people abreast and to get the attention and to keep the engagement. Like, it's just too much. And it can't be sustained long term.
No,
you're not a robot. We're not the algorithm. We're humans. We live life. And you don't want social media to get to a point where you can't even enjoy life in the moment because you're always thinking, oh, content, oh, gotta get this, let me go engage, oh, let me go,
you sit down at the dining room table, you finish eating and you're relaxing a little bit, and then so I didn't do any content today. You gotta jump up, go. You might go in the kitchen, you don't find enough stuff there. You gotta jump in your car to go into the store. No.
Yeah, that's
Well, I can't jump in a car and go to any store like that. So.
And I'm not jumping in no car spur of the moment because it's today on the schedule. Christian said you have to jump in the car. He's part of the generation born into social media. Came out the womb. Yeah. Came out the womb taking selfies, but yeah, so that's our conversation. Like I said, feel free to keep the conversation going in the comments. What are your thoughts about social media? The questions that I asked, I'll repeat them for those who came in late, and then my mom said what? No more late? You heard Christian. Don't be coming into lives late no more. But the first question or talking point, and feel free, like I said, to answer this, give your thoughts in the comments. What are your thoughts about social media being a breeding ground for comparison and covetousness? Do you feel like we are losing authentic and relatable content creators online? Do you feel as though content creators, when they start to make more money, that they should showcase their glow up, their new lifestyle? Do you think it's possible to make more money, elevate your lifestyle, and still be relatable? And if you are a content creator, do you feel that social media is a rat race personally? So feel free to leave your comments, your thoughts. Let's keep the dialogue going and share this video with your friends so we can just get thoughts and get our thoughts out there. So my mom's going to show you the sweet potato salad now.
No, I don't know. Can they see? I don't know.
Lift it up a little bit. Lift it up some more because the caption.
Probably
yeah, lean it.
Lean it like this.
Yeah.
Let me hold from the bottom. This look better?
Yeah, lift it up some more. Yeah, so that's the sweet potato salad.
This is sweet potato salad. This is a sweet potato. These little cubes, you cut them up in, inch or an inch is good enough size. And you use like 3 very large sweet potatoes. And you cut it up, you put olive oil over it. You put it in a pan. 375, 35 minutes. And you roast it. And then when that's the hardest part of the job. When you finish, you add 1 15-ounce can of black beans, 1 cup of corn. You get like 3 or 4 heads of green onions. You cut it up very, very fine. You use a medium red pepper. And you put cilantro, these green things look leafy on top. That's cilantro. You cut it up fine. And you add that in, and basically, that is the salad.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of vegans.
Exactly, and it's delicious. Now, when you finish,
a meal aside.
Yes, when you finish with this, now what dressing that you put on it is honey mustard, but you make it. I make it fresh. You make it with Dijon mustard and honey and a little lemon juice and all that good stuff, and then you stir it in to give it the flavor, and then you just refrigerate it and eat from it. But I didn't make the dressing yet because I didn't plan for anybody to eat this tonight. So I didn't make the dressing because I have to get fresh honey. The honey is almost done. It's not enough to make the full dressing. And that's it. And this is something, you can make for the holidays, because all we ever eat for holiday is sweet potato pie. And the one that they put a lot of sugar in it, what's the name?
A lot of sugar?
Yes, they cook it with sugar. They cook it with sweet potato with sugar. It has a name.
Oh,
can't remember the name.
Sweet potato casserole?
Some other name. But whatever it is, that's what everybody eats. And some people may crush it or whatever. But this is nice, it's different. And family members may like it because it has corn and black beans and all kinds of good stuff inside. But I'll make a video with it next time and we'll put it up. Because nothing was taped today.
Yeah, this is just a simple live. Also, next week you're going to see us live, but it's going to be maybe slightly different times and days, and because we're going to be at the beach for this guy's 5th birthday. How old are you turning? Show him how old you're turning.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, he's turning 5. So, and so we're going to be at the beach. So you'll see it on my community tab on Daily Dell.
You quiet!
Really? I can't be quiet. I'm announcing. So I'll announce everything on the community tab on my channel, Daily Dell. If you're not subscribed, feel free to throw a subscription over there too. And if you're not subscribed here, definitely subscribe. We're trying to get our mom to 100 subs ASAP. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining the conversation. Like I said, feel free to answer those questions I listed out a little while ago in the comments. Keep the conversation going. what are your thoughts about social media as a consumer and a content creator? So we will see you guys. Have a safe weekend. Want to say bye?
See you soon.
Bye.
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 Hey, look at me, Mama. Knock, knock.